Welcome to the Totally Honest Cooking Show. I'm Mark. Today we're doing hot chocolate. Now I got a sink full of dirty dishes. It's almost time for Christmas. I've got to prepare for holiday travel and I need to cut an episode like right now. But enough about my problems. I've never made hot chocolate before. I've made a lot of hot cocoa. I shared my recipe with you guys last year, but I've never made hot chocolate. So we're doing it today. Now, like most of you, when I go to make a new thing, I get the top result from Google. Jerkins, show us the top result from Google. Okay, so I'm heating my stovetop to medium heat. I got 4 cups of whole milk. This recipe comes from Allison over at Celebrating Sweets. Then we're adding 1/4 a cup of cocoa, which I find interesting because traditionally you'd think hot chocolate doesn't have cocoa in it. You'd think it's just chocolate, but whatever. We're also going to add 1/4 a cup of sugar. Now, as this warms up, we're going to whisk them together. One difference between this and my hot cocoa recipe, which is a pretty traditional hot cocoa recipe, is that hot cocoa starts by mixing the cocoa and the water before you add the milk. That thins out the drink considerably. Now, we want to avoid boiling the milk because the milk fat will start to separate. We don't want that. We just want to warm it. So you can fiddle with the heat all you want, but make sure you keep it under boiling. Next up, we've got 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. You can use what you want. I'm using Ghirardelli because they're fancy. If you really want to go fancy, get yourself a fancy chocolate bar or some really nice chocolates and, cut them up with a chef's knife and then throw them in there. It'll be a treat. Milk is starting to get warm, so I'm going to add in my chips. And we're just going to continue whisking until the chips are melted. I was actually kind of surprised by this. I thought that you would have to use a double boiler or something. But if this turns out to be a massive whoopsie doodle, we'll try again. Also, this recipe said to use a small saucepan. The fact that I splashed it out using a large pan shows that's a lie. Well, that's finishing. I'm going to make a quick whipped cream. This is 1/2 cup of heavy cream. In an ideal world, both this bowl and this mixer have been in the freezer for like 10 or 15 minutes. They have not. Draw your own conclusions. As it begins to solidify, add 1 tablespoon of sugar. If you're feeling fancy, get confectioner's sugar. Stop it when it looks like whipped cream. Now this is done, so I'm adding 1/4 a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then I'm getting out my current favorite mug. It is perhaps in your best interest to use a pan with a pour spout. Having fluffed my cream as much as I could, I'm going to go ahead and serve this. If you're still feeling fancy, grate some chocolate over the top. This is 1 chocolate chip. And what we have is a very rich hot chocolate that will cure what ails you. Now I'm going to drink this before all the whipped cream melts. Like, subscribe, ding the little bell. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you want to see next year. And I'll see you next time. Ooh, whoopsie doodle.